Hello, everyone, and welcome to my summit, Healing the Wounds and Creating Miracles. And my guest today, once again, welcome back, is Katherine Tenney.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We did a call earlier, and if anyone missed that, the recording's below, and we talked about relationships. And it went so well, and I thought it felt good to have a Q&A. So here we are having a Q&A. And Katherine is a certified registered nurse and a relationships coach. Wonderful. And well, tell us where you live. You want to say anything about yourself anymore before going?
I live in Vermont, where we finally are having a little bit of a spring day today. It's been a pretty cold winter.
Yay for spring.
I'm an out west girl that moved to the East Coast, so I'm still getting used to that.
Oh, yeah. I'm West Coast and I hear it's very, very cold.
Yeah.
Colder than us. I think you have to be born there to get used to that kind of coldness. So when you take Western people over there, it's just not in our bones.
No, it's a little more frigid than I've been used to in my life.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Beautiful day today.
Yes, same here. And I hope it is for everybody. So
Good.
I do have some questions that a couple ladies have sent in. There's about 8 questions. This one might be off the topic a little bit, but I feel it's still important. And she sent one in, so we'll give her the time.
Okay.
Because it is very important for some who are maybe single and watching this also. But this gal is 60 years old, and she says, how does someone my age find a relationship? I have not been involved with anyone since 2003. I am now 60 years old, and I don't think I would know what to do in a relationship.
Okay. Well, first of all, I've got to say, of course, you're going to know what to do in a relationship. You're absolutely going to know what to do in a relationship. You do what feels right. When you have that connection with somebody, you're going to know that. You just work your way through that. Of course, you know what to do. The trickier bit, especially with COVID, is trying to find somebody right now because we're all still sort of locked in our houses. I think the best thing to do is just go to activities that you enjoy, things that really make you sparkle and happy, because that is a good basis for a friendship with somebody that can build into something better. And that being, again, tricky right now because of COVID, and there's not as many in-person things as we're used to. There are places online. My Time is a dating site for older folks. And I'm not even older because, I mean, really, honestly, I could be on My Time if, I was looking for somebody right now. But there, and eHarmony, these are sites that actually go deeper into the people that are looking for a relationship. And I think a lot of times you can find more of a connection. There's a lot more communication. So I would think about trying that. And the most important thing, just be yourself. What makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, just be yourself. And if you notice any red flags, just go the other way.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so as couples, do we make decisions on all matters together or separate?
Well, again, this is a very much, it depends on the couple and what works for them. I find that it's usually not good to assume that all decisions have to be made together. I mean, people need to be independent in their daily lives. But at the same time, important decisions do need to be made together, or at least discussed with the partner. It's really not fair to do something pretty major and just drop it on somebody. That tends to not work well for a relationship. So I think the biggest thing I can say there is show respect. Just talk to your partner about what you're thinking, what you want to decide, especially the big decisions. You've got to talk and compromise. But even smaller decisions, I mean, even just running down to the store, I mean, at least let somebody know you're leaving the house. It's not necessarily changing your decision. It's not asking for permission. It's just respecting the person that you're with and letting them know, hey, I'm going to go do this, or hey, I'm going to go there. So that's my basic thought there. But I don't think you have to do everything together. And I actually think that's sort of a red flag. If a partner wants to know every single little thing that you're doing every minute, that's just more control than respect.
Mhm.
And I'm all about respect.
Yes, that's a good point. Thank you. So how do you get your spouse on the same page as you, like moving, finances, etc.?
Well, again, it's different for different couples and how they communicate. I think it's really important to go into things not in attack mode and to be very open with, hey, I really want to talk to you about this and let you know how I'm feeling. I'm very interested in how you're feeling, and let's see where we are with it and then move on from there. Because everybody, very often couples have very different ways of communicating. And if somebody feels they're not going to be listened to, if there's been a lot of that, then a lot of times they pop right in there being defensive from the get-go. So that instantly sets the other person on edge. And so the communication just sort of goes down. And when it's something really important, like a big decision, you really have to, again, I'm just me and my respect, but that's really what it is respecting the other person and really doing that. I really want to know what you think and what your concerns are. I really want you to listen to what I'm thinking and what my concerns are, what I want. And then as far past that, it's more of a specific couples thing. It's hard for me to go past that because it's problems at that point of whether somebody doesn't want to, give in to somebody a little bit, whether somebody doesn't care about making the other person happy. But I think mostly just be gentle with each other, respect each other. Make sure you allow your partner to have time to think and ponder, set up a future time to talk to them, maybe in a day or two. Don't expect an answer from them right then because not everybody is that kind of person. You may very well be the person that says, okay, this is what I've decided. This is what we're doing. This is what I know. I want you to do the same thing right now. And your partner isn't. So respect them, give them that time.
Yes. And I like how you mentioned that we should do it in um, a loving heart, kindness.
It's very
It'll go
important.
further.
It's very important to, especially with big decisions like that and emotional things, to take yourself out of it. It is all about, it is about you, but it's really not about you. It's you as a couple. And depending on how you present yourself, the way somebody's reacting may have absolutely nothing to do with you, but more concern or how their inner feelings are. And that's what needs to be addressed. So if people are instantly defensive or, aggressive, then communication shuts down and you're not going to get anywhere that either one is going to be very happy with.
Right.
So,
So
yeah,
back
the
off.
love is really important and the kindness,
Mhm.
gentleness.
And if it's not there, back off and wait for another time when it is more appropriate.
Yeah.
Get our spouse in a good mood,
Well, but also
not a
set up
bad
a
mood.
time. Say, I understand you don't want to talk about this anymore right now, but it's really important to me. When would you be willing to talk about this? Can we just set up a time to talk about it?
Mhm.
Because sometimes the reality is, if you don't do that, they never want to talk about it again. And you're chasing
Mhm.
them. So it's a give and take.
Mhm. Perfectly said. Thank you. Okay, so what if one talks over the other? So there's no real communication and they feel, so what's the use?
That's really hard. That's really hard. And the thing of it is, that doesn't get fixed overnight. There's always backsliding. That takes a lot of courage to not say, what's the use? It's a lot of courage to say, okay, I'm going to keep trying to talk. And it really is little bits at a time. I think it's really important to practice with things that aren't really important in your heart, that it's going to just crush you if you're not heard. It's a practice thing, learning how to go back and forth. And then it's you know what? I feel like you're not listening to me, that you're not really listening to what I'm saying. And this is really important to me. It takes a lot of practice if you're not comfortable talking and communicating and you're sort of used to being just run over,
Mhm.
it takes a lot of courage and practice to say, this is really important to me. I really need you to try to do this to me. When you say that, it makes me feel like you're not listening. And that may not be what you mean at all, but this is how it makes me feel. Um, it's really helpful, little bits at a time, because you don't want to overwhelm the person that also has to learn a new way of communicating. But it's really helpful to really think about, okay, what do I need to hear? What kind of phrase do I need to hear? And then tell them that. Say, this is how this is making me feel. You probably don't mean it, but it is. What I really need to hear in this situation is, I understand, whatever it is, whatever the phrase is.
Mhm.
So I've been known to write these things down as a little cheat card for people
Mhm.
when they were learning. They didn't
Okay.
really know what to say. And there
Mhm.
I was, all upset and stressed out, and, you're not listening to me at all, or just walking out of the other room. So, and sometimes I do think I think I use this too. I text back and forth if something's really hard for me to say.
Mhm.
I
And that's
text,
okay
I've been
too.
known to email. If I can't sit there and say it to somebody's face, sometimes that takes me away enough that I can say something important. But again, you have to remember it is text. So you've got to be very gentle in how you present yourself. And you have to not instantly, unless it's just blatantly horrible, not instantly assume that there's some kind of, evil undertone to whatever the messages you get back, because it's just words.
Mhm.
So we're putting our feelings into the words we're reading and not necessarily the feelings that were the words that were sent, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you. How do you feel about couples having a joint account or each a separate account?
That is very couple specific. It
Okay.
really is.
Mhm.
Some couples do very, very well with just a joint account. Some couples do well with separate accounts. My particular situation, we have separate accounts, but we're on each other's accounts. So if anything ever happened, we have access to that. But we pretty much run our own thing. I do my own thing, he does his own thing. And if we make big decisions, if it's joint money, we always talk about it. We do that together. But just little day to day stuff, we pretty much just take care of it ourselves. But we're very confident with each other and we trust each other. And that's something that it's very important to have that trust, because people sometimes get weirded out about separate accounts. I think the thing about it is, if you're going to have a separate account, don't hide it. Don't have it be a surprise to your partner. If you feel like it needs to be a surprise, that they shouldn't know about it, that's a red flag, and you have some other issues that need to be looked at, that maybe you need to work on a little bit, something not going very well in your relationship. If you feel like you
Hmm.
need to hide things from your partner.
Okay, thank you. What can you tell us or give advice for blended families?
Huge subject, giant
Yes.
subject. Okay, blended families. That's a tricky one.
Mhm.
And sometimes, children do very well, and sometimes they're more challenging. I think the most important thing from a relationship perspective is you're with your partner and you need to support your partner and you need to be a team with your partner. And regardless of whose children it is, regardless of what's going on, you need to be together as a team. If you need to talk about what um, things need to happen, if there are problems, you need to talk about it together. You both need to stick up for each other, and you both need to be consistent about what happens, the rewards, consequences, whatever. You need to be
Boundaries.
consistent. Boundaries. You need to be consistent with each other. And you need to really be open if your partner comes up and says, hey, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. I'm feeling like this, child is, you know, essentially sometimes they can be really horrible. sometimes. And they're just adjusting and they're trying to learn their own way. And they can be manipulative little people, and you don't know what they're hearing from the other parent. And, but regardless, as a couple, you need to totally support each other, and you need to listen to what the other one says about that child and try to look at it as an open mind, because your responsibility, of course, as a parent, but to this new relationship that you've started. And that needs to be strong as a team.
Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll go to this one. One gal asked, after menopause, when you're older, the lack of sex, how can we keep this going as we age?
Okay, well, I think you need to take the sex out of sex to a certain extent. I think that as we get older, we lose the romance.
Mhm.
And I think the romance is what we need for an incredibly wonderful love story. And I mean, yeah, sex is a part of that, but I think we need more romance and we need more connection, try to do activities together, more physical connection that isn't just the sex act, be it holding hands, be it hugging, be, just sitting together on the couch, touching shoulders and eating popcorn while you watch a movie. There needs to be more romance and more bringing flowers, bringing a cup of coffee, something, just so you're thinking of that person, because the more you do that, the more people are interested in closer physical action. It's a progression, a natural progression. Then as far as just the age thing, being the age thing, which is things happen with our bodies, it's not always as easy or exciting or, so take care of that. Go see if you are having a lot of pain, or whatever it is. For men, sometimes they have the erectile dysfunction, so go see somebody about it. Go talk to somebody, because the thing is, you're not going to be interested in having sex if you're not comfortable. I mean, that's just the reality. So,
Yeah.
and that's actually one of the things I love to do, is help people find ways to create romance in their relationships so they have more intimacy in their relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That just fascinates me.
Beautiful. Okay, so if there's ignoring boundaries, it's not uncommon for one spouse to try to change his or her partner.
Clarify for me. What are we trying to answer?
I think she might be saying that, well, we know it's important not to ignore boundaries, and some you
Yes.
need might have to just repeat to the partner what our boundaries are. But what can we do if the spouse is trying to change the other partner?
It's a really hard one, because there's a difference between developing better communication and being aware of the person that you love
Mm-hmm.
to have a better relationship. That's not trying to change somebody, in my mind. It's just the more you can communicate with each other and the deeper the connection goes, the more incredible love story you're going to have. But there are a lot of people that do try to change things, change how people respond to stuff, change activities, change what they like to do. And I'll be really honest with you, that never really works out very well. I mean, this person that you're with is this person that you chose to be with. And if you go into it thinking you're going to change these behaviors, you're just setting yourself up for something that's not going to be very much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not that people can't change if they want to change. You can't change their behavior. You can't do it. If theoretically, if we have a drinking problem or we have some kind of issue, and it gets to the point where I can't stay married to you, I can't stay with you if we don't do something about this, then that person has to decide, are they willing to make the changes? Is the relationship more important, or are they not willing to do that? But the thing of it is, you can't change them. All you can do is know what you can tolerate, what you're willing to tolerate. Try to be open to who they are, because after all, you did choose them. But try to be open, and then figure out what your own boundaries are, what you can do. And then you just have to be clear with this person that you love. I cannot deal with this at all. I'm sorry, but I cannot. And then they need to decide what they want to do. Or, okay, I have some issues with this. It would be easier for me if, instead of going out with the guys Monday through Friday, you just went out Saturday night and you spent some time with me. Things like that. So I don't think you can really change people. They have to do it themselves. And the best thing you can do is be set in who you are and what is important for you to be happy. And then be clear and gentle and communicate with them. Firm, but clear and gentle, kind. Don't attack. Attacking never helps. So that's my thought there.
Good dots. Thanks. Okay, this one is also on communication. She thinks that's the number one problem. Any more advice on about what can we do to make our communication better?
I think really honestly, the best, and again, this is couple to couple and what particular problems you're having and that kind of thing. But the best thing you can do is take yourself out of it a little bit. And not in the sense that you're not involved in your relationship, that you're not involved in the communication, but to really communicate with your partner and not take it all personally, which is really hard when things are emotionally charged. It's really hard to do that. But the more we can do that, the more we can actually connect. And the calmer we are and clearer and respecting, paying attention to how our partner is reacting, whether they need some time, ask them if they need some time. Do you need some time to cool down? I really need to talk to you about this, but do you need some time? But if we just go into it and we're very gentle and clear and respect our partner's boundaries as they need to respect ours, we build on communication. The worst thing I think, and we all do it, God knows I do, is let something go or feel like I've said it and it hasn't registered with my partner. I've said it. I've told you this. I've told you this 100 times. How can you not know this? But the thing is, it never registered with him. He's like, oh my gosh, what? I didn't know it was so important to you. That right there is really important in itself. He didn't realize. Probably should have paid attention, didn't pay attention. This is when you got to say, this is really important to me. Now, if you say this is really important to me, and then they still keep doing the whole thing, again, red flag, something else going on there. But I think just step by step, be gentle. Don't expect it to change in one day. One little bit at a time, one little bit of communication at a time. Build the connection, build the intimacy, build the communication. They all go together. All those pieces go together to create just something amazing.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you. That was good advice. So tell us, Katherine, where our viewers can find you if they would like
my
to talk to you.
website is romancepuzzle.com. So that's where I live. So, and I do have one of my favorite things to do is a surprise date. I think it's really important, talking about my keep building your love story, keep building the romance. It's really easy to go from bliss to blah in your relationship. Mm-hmm. And one of the easiest things you can do, plan a date for your partner. Plan a date for them. Handle it, and it can be at home. It can be watching a movie on the couch. It can be going out and doing something special. But I have all kinds of tips and tricks and a free download on romancepuzzle.com. Because if you can do that once a month, you're going to see amazing things happen in your life.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Your information is also below Anybody can just click on the link and find you. And I want to thank you once again for being here today, for your lovely advice and your presence and sharing your knowledge with us. So,
Thank you so much. It
you're
was a
welcome.
pleasure.
And we will see everyone again soon. So we'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, give me just a minute. Yeah, I get it. It's always